This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Welcome to this edition of the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, John Solberg, and this episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian, non-crossbred Wylarah 9 Plus briskets. And as always, handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years and is run by the father and son team of Kevin and Jordan Green. Every week they are shipping out competition-quality meats to many of the biggest names in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and win often. Not a competitor but still have an eye for the finer cuts in life? Great news! The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sacs. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always handpicked for you. Now you might be saying, John, all this sounds great, but what about the exotic stuff? Well, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop will get you your next elk steak or camel roast out promptly. Yes, that's right, camel. So let's review. The best competition briskets, check. The best pork selection, check. Giving you a better overall option to cook at home, check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Mention the Barbecue Central show for 10% off your entire order each and every time. You can also interact with them on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylarah 9 Plus briskets. And this is what's going on in today's episode. While there may not be an American Royal Cook-Off this year, there certainly was in 2011. Greg catches up with Joe Beland of Tippy Canoe, who walked away with the Invitational way back when. Let's get to it. Here's Greg and Joe Beland from October the 4th, 2011.
All right, here we go. Coming up. Yeah, I forgot to plug in the audio. It's Joe Beland, Tippy Canoe Barbecue. Joe, how are you, buddy?
Great, how are you?
I forgot to plug you in the sound. You were just going to be talking through my speakers, and only everybody here would have heard you, and we certainly can't have that. We need you broadcasting live to the hundreds and hundreds of people that have tuned in tonight. Joe, so I guess no surprise to anybody that's following Competition Barbecue. A hearty congratulations goes out to you and the team as you are purveyors of the invitational side of the American Royal, which took place just this past weekend. Only a few days away from it, really, and probably not even a few days, maybe one day, considering you turned around and did the Open the following day. Just some summatory feelings, the win on the invitational side of things. You also had a very good showing, 19th at the Open as well. Just give me some kind of summary feelings about the whole weekend at the American Royal.
Yeah, Greg, it was a weekend we won't forget as a team for a very long time. Something we really look forward to. You know, it's our third American Royal, invite and open both, and as I told Todd from Port Plow Boys after the Invitational Awards, I watched him take that walk for Grand Champion in 2009, and I said that day we would do that. That was a goal someday in our barbecue career. We'd get to take that walk, and I never dreamed it'd be 2 years later, but to do that, just absolutely phenomenal, outstanding, amazing. You know, one of the things I kept saying afterwards, my wife says, you have to stop saying that. I just kept saying unbelievable, and that really sums it up for me. It's unbelievable to think that that could happen to us, and we got it done, and it felt really good.
Joe Beland joining us, Tippy Canoe Barbecue. By the way, tippycanoebbq.com is his website. Joe, probably an unfair question for me to ask, but out of all of the Grand Championships that you have won during your competition time out there on the circuit, where does this American Royal Invitational Open rank over all the others?
It's for the ones we've won, Greg, is that your question?
Yes.
Yeah, it's far and away, the biggest win of our career, and to do it amongst that field, and to look through that field of competitors afterwards, and to do it on that stage in front of all those people, and get some of the exposure we've gotten, quite frankly, afterwards has been really, really amazing, and really fun to see and go through. So it's by far our biggest win of our career, and probably will be for years to come. So something we won't forget for a long time.
All right, so let's go ahead and look back a little bit on the weekend. We'll go ahead and start with the invitational side, since that's the portion that you won. How did the Cook go for you overall? Anything out of the ordinary that you had to contend with? Obviously, the field a little less patronized than the Open, but you're dealing with the best of the best when it comes to barbecue for that event.
Yep, exactly. And that's, we sat down, we get down there Thursday afternoon, try to get down and get set up and get all that out of the way early. I didn't have any ribs. I probably spent 10 hours last week trying to buy ribs. Went to 3 Sam's Clubs and various other stores and couldn't find a rib I liked. So I didn't have any ribs. So Friday morning we had to go out and find ribs. And my buddy Ryan from Big Teeth Q Crew and I and his father-in-law Dan got in their vehicle, and we hit several places around Kansas City trying to get some ribs bought, and bought a whole Ford Excursion full of ribs for between the two of us Friday morning, and to use for our two teams, because they didn't have any either. And obviously those turned into first place ribs and third place ribs for him in the invitational. So clearly we found a good batch out of that. It was worth the persistence, but that was probably the one hurdle we had to jump, was try to find some quality ribs. And that's, be honest with you, that's our biggest challenge every week. It seems like I've got a brisket supply we're buying off the farm, briskets that, so those are pretty consistent and pretty easy to get, but everything else, it seems, is a battle, week in, week out, to find quality, unfrozen, timely dated stuff. So anyway, we got that out of the way, and then from there, Friday was just smooth as could be. Our cook just really was phenomenal. The cook went tremendously well. Everything worked like it should. We were cooking on a backwoods for the big meats with a DigiQ2 controller on it, and the boys at Barbecue Guru, obviously them pretty well, set us up, and that baby did his work all night like he always does, and we never had just a flawless cook. Got all done cooking Saturday. Sent the brisket out the door with Matt, my runner, and I whispered kind of quietly, I said, I'm going to say this one time, we can't cook any better than that. And off he went with the brisket, and I believe that. I don't think I today could cook any better than we cooked in the invitational, and for a change, the judges agreed. So it was fun to see that.
I was going to say, is it a case where a lot of cooks feel like they've done very well on that particular occasion, but the judges turn around, kick them right in the balls, and then in contests where you think you've cooked the most terrible you've ever done, you're taking walks for grand champion? This happens to be kind of that awkward time where you feel good and the judges feel good about you at the same time.
There's a little royal talk from October the 4th, 2011. You want to hear a little more of it? Head on over to thebbqcentralshow.com. The link in the show notes is going to take you to the complete episode. While you're over cruising around the internet, check out The Butcher Shop over on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled SHOPPE. Don't forget, mention the Barbecue Central Show when you place your order. You're going to save 10% off. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9+ briskets. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.